especially.
And that is tiny as a. I've done that too.
Yeah. I don't know if we're sticking around. Bill, was Eric sticking around?
No, not for the next one. I'm not sure on this.
Oh, okay.
There he is.
He
Okay.
talked like he was, but
So Josh, we'll hear you.
It's open.
I signed one time, but it's.
Oh, you look.
I heard you.
That's the crash. Okay. Turn before, that's recording.
You want to- Since. Oh.
All right, it being 6 o'clock, call to order the meeting of Thornapple Township Zoning Board of Appeals. Today is Monday, February 23rd, and we have one matter before us tonight. But the first thing I would like to do on our agenda is approve the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting and our new lovely format? Any questions, changes, corrections?
I motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Okay, do you have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Oh, I guess I should also approve the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
That's what I just,
Oh, the agenda. Okay, and then I went right into the minutes. Okay, we've approved the agenda. Now let's approve the minutes. We have a motion to approve minutes.
moved to approve the minutes with my suggested changes that I emailed.
Oh, there was some,
Some typos and some things.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
how did I miss this? I don't know.
You looked at it? Can you see? Okay.
I haven't heard nothing.
Somebody's name got spelled wrong or something.
It's
It
Linda.
Spelled right
Oh.
on top and then got.
Yeah, my name is Craig, if there are any additional changes, we can connect with Diane after the meeting.
Yeah, it's,
Okay. All right, so we have a motion to approve the minutes with just clerical changes. Do we have a second?
A second.
All right, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the minutes from January 26, 2026 are approved. Next on the agenda is public comment. And this is an opportunity for anyone attending this meeting. If you have anything you'd like to talk with us about, matters that are not on the agenda, now is your chance to step forward and give us your name and address, and if you'd like to tell us in about 3 minutes. All right, no takers for our public comments. We have no new business, but we do have a public hearing. And this is ZBA file number 117 for Brian Summerdike. The process we're going to take place, we're going to do this evening is we're going to have a staff introduction by Phil Gensterbloom, our zoning administrator. Then we're going to have the applicant presentation. Then we are going to open the public hearing for public comments, and then we will have our ZBA deliberation and decision. So Phil, start us off.
late 25, I had a complaint that come in regarding addition that Mr. Summerdyke had put on his accessory building. Doing some digging into it, the building that he had up was legally constructed at the time. Zoning ordinance changed sometime after his barn went up, 16, I believe, possibly. But it's what I refer to as a 3% rule. You can have 3% coverage on your lot, in accessory buildings. There's building that he built initially was 30 by 40, 1,200 square feet. His lot size is 0.78 acres, which would give him 1019.3, I believe, if the number is correct, of square footage of accessory buildings. So he had a legal, what we call a legal non-conforming building. He added on, I think it was 480 square feet, 12 by 40, leading to the side of the accessory building. Matched his current accessory building, put a garage door on it, did it up, looked really nice. But nonetheless, it was well over the 3% since it was already over that to begin with. Met with Mr. Sumberdike, we talked about it, went through the process as if he was starting from scratch, and of course, that was denied because of the over the 3%. We talked about his recourse, which would be coming to ZBA for variance, and he completed the paperwork and we're at.
And I also had a note here, did you mention that when he put this lean-to up, that we were not made aware of that because there was no permit application?
Correct, yes, correct. Yeah, no zoning or permit yet.
All right. Okay, any questions for Phil before we let the applicant speak? All righty.
Good evening, Attorney Andrew McInnes here, and be presenting on behalf of Mr. Sumberdike. Mr. Sumberdike is present in the building over in the back corner. With him are three neighbors who have come to, if necessary, speak on his behalf in support of granting the application for the addition of the lean-to. I hope you all have all had the opportunity to review my February 6th supplement to Mr. Sumberdike's original application for the zoning dimensional variance. And I hope you have, because I think it provides some important context to kind of the unique circumstances in this matter. Mr. Sumberdike originally purchased his property in 1996. At the time of his purchase, it was the lot size was consistent with pretty much all of his neighbors. It was 100 square feet by 100 on the roadside to 150 square feet depth. It featured just a standard principal residence and small house shed. Jump forward to about 1998. Oh, I should say, at that time, Mr. Sumberdike's property, which is at 7442 Northby Drive, behind Mr. Sumberdike and all of his neighbors, is about 72 acres of 72 to 73 acres, I believe, of agriculturally zoned property. So if you look out behind Mr. Sumberdike's property and his neighbor's property and his neighbor property, all you're seeing is farmland. There's nothing back there. You're not looking at a building. So jump forward to 1998. The owner of that property, the 73 acres, comes to Mr. Sumberdike and says, "Hey, Brian, would you like to purchase up a little bit of this property?" Brian says, "Absolutely, I jump at that. I've been meaning to build. I'd love to build a pole barn if I could." And so he buys an additional 100 by 150 square feet. That doubles his lot size. It is 15,000 square feet additional. Again, doubles his lot size. It is a little bit different in shape, whereas I'll say, sorry, I'm going to use this. Whereas the original 15,000 square feet kind of went this way from the road.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. This goes and creates an L. So this is the property that he purchased. It's the 150 by 100. Same year, he comes to this board and says, "I'd like to build that pole barn." Applies for a 1,200 square foot pole barn, stamp of approval, great. Important thing at that time, when he buys kind of that alcove, what I'll call it, it's considered agricultural. It was agricultural property before, so when he's building it, I believe it's still considered agricultural. Jump forward to 2002. Two of his neighbors to the south, and I can't tell you I'm looking back, but I don't think the zoning change went through until about 2016. So if you look, jump forward to 2002, the same farmer comes and says, "Hey, Brian, I'm selling a little bit of my property to two neighbors to the south. They are doubling their lot size. Would you like to get a little bit more?" He says, "Yep, I'll add." She offers him a 25 by 150 foot strip. So basically tacking on an additional 25 feet on that L. So he buys it. That's kind of the what I'll call lot, but it's not a separate lot necessarily. But that's what the pole barn is resting on. It ultimately is 125 by 150 on this kind of alcove, 18,750 square feet. Two properties down is Mr. Gary Richards. Gary has doubled his lot size, and he comes to this board and says, hey, on that back parcel that I built the barn, that I purchased from the farmer, I'd like to build a pole barn. And this board approves it because it's sitting on agricultural land. So that's what I mean to say, where it's kind of in this weird dichotomy where it was agricultural, it's attached to residential, but it abuts up to residential or agricultural, and it was at least at one time agricultural. And you might be listening to me and saying, why is he rambling on? What's the important context on this? When you look at the change that came through in 2016 with respect to the zoning ordinance that was enacted by this board, I think there's two things that pop up to me at least. The first being is, where is it located with respect to an accessory building? And the second is, how big is it comparative to its lot size? So agricultural, as you guys all know, is treated differently than residential. Agricultural allows a standalone building without a principal residence. It allows the 1080 kind of garage by itself plus that 3% variance. So in looking to Mr. Summerdike's property, if we consider the property that he purchased up, that was at one time agricultural, it's 18,750 square feet. If it's considered continuing to kind of conceptualize it as agricultural, there's allowed to be kind of that standalone building back there. That's why that's important if we look at it independently. Second, size of building to the lot size. Again, if we're considering this 18,750, even though it is mixed in with the 15, the original 15,000. If you look at that 18,750, 3% of that would be 563 square feet. Plus there's the 1,080 square foot allowance already. So you go 1,080 plus 563. That's about 1,643 square foot allowance for just kind of a standalone building. And Mr. Summerdike's barn with the addition of lean-to is very nearly at that. It is 37 square feet away, 3 by 12, an extra 3 feet on that lean-to, and that's about it. So he's right there. And so the reason that I present all this is, I think we can run through the factors that that this board through the ordinance has set forth. I did so in my supplement. I know you guys everyone here is very busy. No one wants to hear me go on and on and on. So I'm not going to go point by point, but I think it gives the context of what this board was trying to accomplish through the zoning ordinance. He's meeting right in line with that. It's not offensive to his neighbors. It fits well within his property. It abuts up to agricultural property and is nowhere near anything. I submitted as exhibit N or attachment N to my supplement 4 affidavits from neighbors. 3 of them are here. And as you can see, and Mr. Gensterblom told you all, no really question with workmanship in terms of, does it look nice? Was it done well? All that good stuff. The neighbors will tell you, I believe, I'll let them speak for themselves, but they've said it through the affidavits already. They've said it's modest in size. It's consistent with the barn and surrounding residential structures. It's tasteful. It does not negatively impact them or their enjoyment of their properties. And they are in support of it. So again, I don't want to belabor the points more than I already have. I won't run through the factors. You can take a look at my supplement that I submitted, but I believe once you consider this within the context of what this board, I believe, is trying to accomplish with the where is it located, how large is it, you'll see that this is a variance that should ultimately, I believe, be granted. And so unless there's any further questions for me, I'll kind of open it up to well, you guys can open it up, but unless there's any further questions for me, I'll sit down and kind of let the public take over.
I've got one point. The fact that it was agricultural does not mean it stays agricultural. As soon as Mr. Shumstead bought this, it became residential, or at least excess residential. It does not necessarily stay under the percentage of agricultural zoning and taxation laws. If a farmer had bought that back from him, then that's what was residential would become agricultural. The agriculture doesn't stay with it once it's sold.
And I do understand that, Mr. Wagner.
Yeah.
I'm trying to contextualize it within the time of purchase. I do know that back in 2002, I believe, that was not the opinion of the board with another barn. It was said, hey, because you had it on agricultural property, we're gonna allow that. And that barn was ultimately 40 by 50. We are in full support of that barn. We have no question with that barn. It is legal, it is conforming, but there's a bigger barn, that again, we do support, but there's a bigger barn that was approved at one time, not under that recent enactment. And that's public record. I did cite that opinion, in the settlement.
All right, thank you. All right, no other questions for Mr. McInnes, then it is 6:14. I will open. Something to say, please stand, give us your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes where you can share your hearts with us. The public hearing is open. Does somebody want?
Yeah. We don't go there.
Right there.
All right, so I'm the other guy with the big barn.
Okay, tell us your name and
Gary
address.
Richards,
Okay.
Gary Richards. And my neighbor brought me all the way to the Supreme Court twice over my barn. Because he said I didn't have a house on their property. You guys passed it the first time. He took it to the circuit court, I mean, all the way up. He lost every step of the way. It was mapped on and I got it from the clerk, whatever, in Hastings. That land that I bought, the agricultural land, that's why I could build that barn on there without having a house on residential land. Was because it's agricultural land and that's why it all passed.
Actually, part of the ordinance for residential estates out there, if you own waterfront property and you own the lot across the street, that has nothing to do, I don't believe.
Yeah.
As far as agricultural goes, it's just as part of the ordinance.
This is a public hearing, so let's let the gentleman speak. And so,
Sorry, I was just.
No, that's okay. I understand what you're saying.
right, and so, are you speaking for or against this variance?
No, I'm for it, because to me, it's on agricultural land and it looks nice. I can see it right out of my house, right across the driveway. There's nothing, I mean, it looks nice. It's always nice, this property,
All right.
Could you state your address, please?
7421. Noski Drive.
Thank you.
And I own 7418 across the street.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll say something. Will Gelderlos, that's 7446 Doffy. I'm Brian, immediate next door neighbor, just to the north. My lot I didn't get the chance or I didn't choose to purchase, so I have a shorter, or a more shallow lot. But because of that, I mean, it feels like almost like a shared backyard, to be honest, like it's very, kind of over behind mine, and yeah, from my window and when I'm in my backyard, the barn's right there too. Never once had an issue with it at all. It looks nice. It fits in with the neighborhood. It's not like it's an eyesore that was just slapped together or anything like that. It's all intentional. It looked good. I'm in favor of the variance.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Josh Lambert, 7431 Noski. I'm directly across the street from Brian. I moved in 1.5 years ago. I didn't even know the barn was there until 2.5 months ago when this got brought up. You literally have to look diagonal between houses to even see it. So I'm in favor of it. It looks good. No issues.
Anyone else? All right, it is 6:17. Public hearing. All right, this is our opportunity for ZBA members to discuss this issue and come to a decision. I'd like to remind our ZBA members that the lot in question is in our zoned residential estates. And in our packet, Bill has given us Article 26, which talks about non-conforming lots, buildings, structures, and uses. And And when it refers to non-conforming lots of record, the lot in question and the building in question is a non-conforming building. So it was built prior to the current zoning, which is why it's non-conforming. And accessory buildings permitted, in addition to an attached private garage, one or more detached accessory buildings having a total exterior ground floor area of up to 3% of the total area is permitted. Non-conforming structures, it makes very clear, and I'm trying to find that one. I am looking for, 26 second. 3. Extend, continuation of non-conforming building or structure, is not allowed. It cannot be enlarged or altered in a way that increases its non-conformity, except as noted. And so, what we have,
Anything you want to specifically read should be right there.
yeah,
We said that for, not
Yeah.
conforming, enlargement or increase of non-conforming use. I think what you're looking for is right in there.
yeah. It's not allowed by our zoning,
Subsection.
subsection B.
Yep. Extension within within a building, you said B or D? Yeah.
26,
And it's possible, let me see if I have the incorrect
I thought I had.
wording
pulled
of
up.
this file.
Because I'm staring at it. Section 26.3, non-conforming buildings or structures. Extensions B, extensions of non-conforming buildings and structures. A non-conforming building or structure may not be enlarged or altered in a way that increases its non-conformity, except as noted. So we've heard a lot about what prior zoning was. We have to deal with the matter at hand with the zoning district that we have. And if you want to go to our packets, then we have a dimensional variance checklist and findings of fact. Our job as a ZBA is to go through these 7 standards and determine our finding of fact by a yes or a no, and why we think that. And I'd like to go through all 7 of these. And so, section 27.6 on dimensional variances, if an applicant seeks a non-use or dimensional variance from any of the provisions or requirements of this ordinance, the applicant must demonstrate that all of the following standards, all 7, will be met, and the applicant bears the burden of proof regarding such standards. So I think we'll start with number 1. Is the property subject to exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions that do not apply generally to other property? This is, are you here for the planning commission? Okay, that meeting starts at 7. You're welcome to stay in this meeting. Otherwise, you can wait outside. Is the property subject to exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions that do not apply generally to other properties in the same zoning district? Exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions can include exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of the specific property that existed when the applicable zoning ordinance provision went into effect. Exceptional topographic conditions or other extraordinary situations on or involving the land, building, or structure, because the use or development of the property immediately adjoining the property in question, the literal enforcement of the zoning ordinance requirements as to the property in question would involve practical difficulties or any other physical situation on or involving the land, building, or structure deemed by the ZBA to be extraordinary. So is this property subject to exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions that don't apply generally to other properties in the same zoning district?
I don't know if I followed all the math just right, but when you were speaking earlier, it sounds like he bought additional property. And that square footage, if I understood you right, would allow this addition to fall within that 3% of the total square footage that he had within 37 square feet. Is that correct?
If you're looking at it within the 18,750 square feet, allotment for 1,080 square feet for a garage, and then it provides an additional 3%, he would be within 37 square feet with the addition of the lean-to. But yes, he bought, he more than doubled his lot size through the purchases. And if you look down, I think it's Exhibit K, you can see down the row, and you can see that most of the properties remain about less than half his lot size.
Okay, the total square footage, Marty, of the current lot is 0.78 acres, and it's, I don't have the exact numbers, but it's 30-some thousand square
Yeah,
feet.
it's 33,977. It's the
It's 3%
square footage.
of that, 1,018.
And when I looked at, taking the 1,680 square feet that the barn, including the lean-to is, that comes up at, 4.94% of his lot size. So
It's still over with the.
he's still that over the 3%.
Okay,
And what Linda was saying earlier, with just a 1,200 square foot original barn that was built years back, that's at 3.53% by itself, and that was where she was saying you've got a non-conforming
Right, but that was.
existence at that point. And we took that and made it even more non.
and so is the property subject to some extraordinary circumstances or conditions that don't generally apply to other properties in the same zoning district?
My answer to that is no. To question number one. And
I mean, it might be a stretch, but it was extraordinary circumstance to change the zoning from agricultural to residential.
No, it was residential, they just changed the,
It was ag.
It was
so
that,
all of it was ag. The property he bought was ag, but he
The
is,
initial parcel.
but his residential parcel is residential, yeah. So we have a no, and that's, a rationale would be,
I think we all have to live by the same standard. And I don't see anything exceptional here.
I agree, I mean, there's nothing bad about his building or neighborhood disapproval or anything, but the fact is he doesn't have enough square footage of property to build a building that size and be within the zoning laws.
so, I hear two no's. I think we should, take, stock from all of us and get an answer from all of us. We have a no on this, standard. Do we all agree? Right?
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. And you stated the no. Kurt? I would agree. You would agree, and you would agree, I would agree, that's unanimous that this one is a no. All right, the second item we have to address is the condition or situation of the specific piece of property for which the variance is sought is not of a general or recurrent nature. In other words, it generally does not apply to other properties.
But I think the problem is it does apply to other properties. It's the same ordinance.
They're all in for the entire
Same
district.
Situation,
And so your answer then would be no,
yeah.
yes?
That's correct.
No, yes, correct?
Yes to no. No, yes, but I'm not sure.
It is not enjoyment. Okay, so Marty has a no because it applies to all of the lots in the RE district. Do we have any discussion on this one, or are we in agreement with that response?
I agree.
It applies everywhere.
Pardon me?
I said it applies everywhere in the
Yes.
district.
Kurt?
Yeah,
You agree?
yes, I'll agree.
Okay,
It's kind of sad in a way, so like, that 3% is low in your total square footage of your property, just, it doesn't seem like very much building coverage on the lot to me, but especially compared to what they have on the other side of the road, the side of the houses on the lot sides that they have here, which are all non-compliant, I know that as well, but they're looking at setbacks that, within single digit feet from the line of it. These are all setbacks that are 50 feet, whatever.
and we're not even dealing with a setback issue here tonight. We're
Right.
dealing with the size of the building. Yes. Jeff, did you have?
I was just gonna say, and I think it's important for the public to understand, the discussion that the board's having right now, this is not a formal vote that has occurred. This is simply a discussion and trying to get a sense for where the board is. There's no action being taken yet, so just so we're all clear.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along. Oops, number three. Number three, is the variance necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right similar to the property rights possessed by other properties in the same zoning district and vicinity?
I would say yes.
I would say yes to that as well.
And the reasoning for that would be?
There are other similar properties all up and down Noski Drive with barns in the back and, those.
Well, he's got a barn in the back already.
He's already
More-
got the barn.
More that you're trying to keep things inside that wouldn't fit in there.
And I would say other neighbors are gonna want to do that too, so I think.
I would comment that with exception of two barns along now, all of the other barns meet the zoning ordinance in terms of square footage. I used Berry County GIS, Fetch GIS, and I went all the way around the lake. I may have missed some on the west side. Most of those properties over there are acres. So. I'm I'm pretty sure I got all of the barns. There's one being built right now that doesn't have any skin on it yet, Phil. Does that one meet the square footage requirement?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're about 60 or 80 feet underneath what they were allowed.
okay.
Okay, so your response to this one then would be,
We're on number three.
we're on number three, yes,
So
correct.
I'm saying answer to the question is no. That, this variance request is asking for, enjoyment that, is above and beyond what others are allowed to have based on the size of their lot. And that's why we have the ordinance in the first place.
And I agree with that.
So,
So we have, a couple of us that say no, and we have others who, Greg, were you a yes? And,
That was a yes on that.
and Carol?
I don't know, yes.
Okay. All right, number 4, will a variance not be significantly detrimental to adjacent properties and the surrounding neighborhood?
I would say yes to that one as well. Similar reasoning.
I said yes to that one myself too. So,
Yeah, well, all the neighbors said they're okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and everyone got contacted directly, because there's one house that didn't respond or didn't say yes or no.
I'm sorry.
One of the closest houses, because a lot of the neighbors that responded with letters,
I received nothing.
but in the
Okay.
affidavit.
you didn't get any negatives either then?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
And so are you a yes? on
Yes,
this
I mean,
one?
That's a you.
Okay. All right, we will do a unanimous yes on this one. Because there's support, there's nothing detrimental according to the neighbors. Number 5, will a variance not impair the intent and purpose of the zoning ordinance requirement that is the subject of the variance request? And a reminder that we are section 23, 26.
This is the double negative again. It doesn't carry the intent of the purpose. If we refuse this. So just you have to answer that with a no, right?
That's what I have.
Yeah. And Craig,
Yeah, I agree.
agree?
Yeah.
Or
I agree.
agree. So we are unanimous on no on that one. Okay, is the practical difficulty such that it was not self-created by any action by the applicant or their predecessors entitled?
This is, obviously, so.
Or you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And the reason this was self-created was,
We can fight for people.
all right,
Therein lies the problem.
okay. Marty, your answer?
No.
Agree with the no, Carol?
I agree with that.
Okay, so we have a unanimous no. Okay, and then lastly, number 7, will the requirement of the zoning ordinance at issue involve practical difficulty for the applicant or the property involved?
I said yes for this because the obvious that if this gets denied, at some point, we theoretically may have to come down. I'd say that's a practical difficulty.
I agree with this.
Okay.
I agree.
Fine.
Yeah, no.
I agree. All right. So, we have gone through all 7 questions. In order for this to be approved, we would have needed a yes on each one of these. And so, we have a couple of options before us tonight. Number 1, we can vote, take a vote to deny this variance. Or the applicant can ask us to table this while, and ask us to investigate the interest of the planning commission and the board to increase the percentage allowed. From 3% to some higher percent. That does not guarantee that that would be approved, but that would be an option.
Well, last night you said like that.
Okay? Yes, sir.
And just for the boards, so long as the variance is pending, and if it's tabled, it's still pending. Under the law of the township, absence of an emergency, can't proceed with enforcement action. So nothing would be done relative to the bolt lean-to until the variance is acted on.
Okay.
So
Okay, so at some point when a decision is made by the planning commission and board,
Right.
the applicant would be informed about the next steps. Okay,
Well, if the board changed the zoning on it, or, you know, increase the percentage, wouldn't that create make this a moot point,
well,
variance a moot point at that point? I mean, if they increase
Yeah.
it to like, say, 10%, then why, we would even need to have variance.
Right. There may be, I mean, depending on what the board or did, I can envision they require some kind of site plan review and approval, but yes, you're right, in terms of the need for variance, that would disappear.
and that would happen once the rest of it was made.
So I guess with that, I would make a motion to postpone.
To the table?
Well, the table would be the same, in the same meeting, correct?
No. Yeah,
Typically, you can postpone to a date certain, typically, or if you just put it on the table, nothing happens.
It'd just be on the
It'll
ZBA
be on the
table
table
forever.
until it's taken off.
Got it. So, okay. I'll make a motion. Yeah, that's the
okay, Craig has made a motion to table and Marty supports. Let's do a roll call.
Balkan,
Yes.
Gattenberg,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Stolzenberg,
Yes.
Winger.
Yes.
All right. The motion is tabled.
And so if I can make one recommendation, if you want to ask the planning commission and board to take this up, I'd recommend you adopt some type of motion recommending that the planning commission consider an amendment to this particular provision to increase it to some number determined by the township board.
Okay,
So just so that we have paper.
all right.
I'll make that same motion.
Okay, so Craig has made a motion to forward this to the planning commission for consideration of a change in the percentage.
Yeah, I just want to.
Okay, we have Craig and Marty. Again, a roll call.
Winger,
Yes.
Stolzenberg,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Balkan.
Yes. All right, so we have a motion to forward to the planning commission.
No.
Okay,
Agreed.
all right.
Could I make a request on the applicant's behalf?
No,
No.
No.
okay, okay. All righty, we have had a public hearing. We have heard from the applicant who was asked to table. We have made that motion and forwarded information to the planning commission. I believe that concludes our business for this evening. Do we have any ZBA member comments?
I believe
We're glad you made it so, Marty.
you got here in time, Marty. Thanks.
All right, with that, I will entertain an emotion to adjourn.
Okay. Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our meeting is adjourned at 6:42. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here.